everybody doing? This is a wonderful cafecito that we're having here today with all of you, amazing authors of Extraordinary Latinas, Volume 4. Yay! And I'm going to be pushing people up and up, up and down the stage because we have other people in the background as well because we are 18 authors here. And if I can ask somebody, like there's an echo happening. So if you're not talking,
Hola.
just put yourself on mute so that it doesn't reverberate because I think we're having an echo somewhere. But hello, everybody. I'm just so thrilled, so excited because guess what? We are number one bestseller, ladies! Woohoo! We made it! Yes, this is the fourth book, the fourth bestseller, and it just comes to show the collective power of when we put our minds to it, what we can all accomplish, right? So you, and all of us, we now can be called best-selling authors. So congratulations. This is so exciting. To be here. And then we have the conference coming up, and I know that many of you will be at the conference. So for those of you that are watching, you come to the conference in Boston, March 28th, because you'll be able to meet many of the amazing authors, not only of this book, but of the previous books as well. We're going to be over 25 authors. Currently, of the 4 books, we have 50 authors, over 50 authors altogether. Almost half of them are going to be in the conference. So definitely something really good to feel really proud about. But anyways, today's an exciting day, and I want to hear briefly of everybody and your experience and what has it been like to celebrate this day. But I want to start with Cynthia, because Cynthia, you I reached out to you and I said, hey, do you want to be the forward of our book, because you have an amazing career, and can you lead the way into writing and setting the stage for this amazing book? And I know that you read excerpts for many of the authors here, and I would love to kick it off with you and to hear from you. uh, you know let's just hear from you. Let's start there.
I mean, first of all, I can't believe you're giving me the responsibility of speaking when I'm the only one here who is not an author, who didn't write her own story. I feel like I'm kind of sneaking into this conversation as just like an audience. Like when I read the stories, it reinforced this idea that I've been thinking a lot about, which is there are so many role models, and we just have to make everyone visible, because the younger Latinas need to see that it's possible. If you don't see yourself reflected, you can't imagine that you can be whatever you want to be. And I wonder if it's either because we are too humble or because we are too busy, because we also, many of us are very committed to our social work, our personal lives. So then we are killing it in many areas, but we're not going around and telling our stories. But it is our responsibility to tell our stories, and it's our responsibility to tell each other stories so we are visible, so the next generation makes it in half the time with half the bruises. So it's an honor for me to, like, having been able to read your stories before everyone else, and write the foreword and just be in this room with you, which I feel like I don't belong to. I'm honored. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you. And I know that you've had you've read a lot of stories, not only of people in this book, but of other, because I know that A La Latina does a lot of work as well. So having your perspective of the power of Latinas in general, I think it's critically important. And thank you for trusting this project as well. So thank you. Thank you. And as we move around, because we have other authors that are coming in, and so I'm going to start moving people along, and I want to hear first from Mildred. What was your experience? Because you're a journalist. Like, this is not your first rodeo in terms of, putting your story and putting yourself in front of different audiences. But I know that this has also been a different experience for you. So would love to hear your take on it. Unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Fantastic. It's such a pleasure to be here with everyone, and thank you. Frankly, congratulations to you, Ileana, and the entire staff at United Latinas who's made this possible for all of us. I'm truly honored and excited to be an author in this book. As a journalist, I got to tell you something different. It's not the same when you're putting a story together about someone else. I'm accustomed to writing stories about other people, other types of stories about other things, documentaries, if you will, as well. But it's very difficult to start writing about yourself and putting that perspective and bringing it to life and sharing not just your experience, but also having the opportunity to share with others what have you done that you feel personally that has made you achieve success, whatever that level of success it is to every individual. So I have to say it was not very easy at first because I really had to come and reflect on all those, really from sharing from my childhood and really understanding what gave me that what made me make the decisions that I made throughout my life since childhood, and what those taught me as we began to write my chapter specifically on embracing the journey, a fearless strategy for taking charge of your own objectives. And so it was definitely at the beginning, it was a bit of nervousness and excitement, but overall, it was just such a beautiful experience. And really having that moment, I felt like those were moments of reflection for me, and really having those moments all to myself and thinking through, and certainly thinking about my childhood days and my adolescence, and how did that take me into my adulthood, and what did that mean for me, and how did those moments really allowed me to come to realization that inspired me and helped me chase my sueño imposible, as I mentioned it there, a dream that really has come full circle for me, but that I learned that very early on in my childhood. And so thank you for allowing us to make this a part of it, allowing us to inspire others, which I certainly hope when everyone, whoever purchases and gets this book, truly takes this on and becomes inspired by not just what my chapters, but certainly the chapter from every co-author that's in this book. So thank you. It was really a wonderful experience, and I'm still enjoying it. I'm still in disbelief, but certainly thank you for allowing us to make this and be part of that wow moment that we're having right now. So thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Mildred, for sharing those words, especially something like somebody like you that you said it's different when we have to share our own story and put ourselves out there, right? And on that note, I want to bring up to the stage Mercedes, because I know that you've gone through your own journey, and this has been like a culmination of a lot of things that have been happening in your life, and that I know that people will learn from your experience.
Yeah, no, first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity. And you know how I feel about United Latinas here. No, there's no secret there. For me, as I reflect back, especially last year, which was really difficult for me, um, I had to basically restart with who am I? I completely lost myself. And as I reflected back, the most fundamental thing that I can think of is I'm a Latina. And if you know, you know. I don't know how to explain it, but I am a Latina. Everything about it, it's just at the core. And reflecting on my journey, I look back at how many times I had to abandon that so that I could reach goals that I wanted to reach. From trying to be a very liberal nun. I was like, no, you can't be a liberal nun. Like, why can't nuns get married? To then becoming a professional athlete, to trying to succeed in a career in the United States as a first generation immigrant, where I still have to change sentence structures because I can't pronounce half the words and all these fun things we all go through. And in looking back to that, the one message that I wanted to give this to other Latinas is see yourself in these stories. You can be you and be as you are and succeed. And second, stand in these shoulders. I stood in the shoulders of so many other incredible Latinas that put themselves out there when it wasn't that easy. And third, let's absolutely reclaim our narrative. I am really tired of people speaking for us instead of giving us the microphone. But we're not going to wait for the microphone. We're going to take it and amplify it. And I hope that every little girl or teen or woman or anyone in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s that want to reinvent themselves know that you have this community and that we have your back and that the future is Latina. That's it.
I love that. I love that. Um, The other thing that I want to say is many of you had this like imposter syndrome feeling, and I don't want to call it that, but do I have a story to share? Like, where do I want to focus on how to put myself out there? And I know that for all of the people that are watching right now, and for future authors, we all have beautiful stories to share. And it's just, you don't have to worry about how to share them. It's just about sharing it with us, and then we'll, put it together and be a part of this book. So I would love to hear from you, Kalia, because I know that you and I have been in deep conversations because you have well, all of you have an amazing story, but like the figuring out the lens and the focus on how to move forward. What has been your experience for this book?
The experience, first off, has been beautiful. I am eternally grateful for all of you. Vulnerability is not easy for a lot of us, especially when we're in the process of healing from either current things in life or generational trauma. And so I feel just blessed to be able to be in this space with all of you. And I would say the journey overall has just been beautiful. It honestly elevated me from a dark space as well. I think somebody mentioned that earlier. I'm so grateful for United Latinas because you guys did not give up on me. For a while there, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this. Maybe I'll do this another time. And the support, the love, and the encouragement has truly been illuminating. I went into 2025 with a different mindset and ready to tackle and continue to help others. So I hope that, like many of you have said, our stories continue to shine and motivate others to also overcome whatever they may be going through in life. And although I know the book is focused on Latina leadership, I think that the audience could be general too. There's a lot that people can learn from our words and our story. So gratitude for all of you and United Latinas.
Thank you so much, Kalia. And I want to go next with Lisette to share a little bit of, what happened as you were writing through your chapter, because we all go through different transitions and through different moments as we're writing our chapters. If you can share a little bit about that.
Thank you. And my apologies. I've lost my voice, but I could not miss out on the opportunity of being here with these amazing ladies. So congratulations to everyone. It was such an amazing experience to reflect back on the journey and the experiences that have led to where I'm at now. And, just reflecting on the fact that the challenges that we've been through, that I've been through, have actually helped me grow as an individual and be to where I'm at now, and be proud of the journey that has taken me to get to this point, and be able to share with everyone lessons learned, and hopefully to inspire others and pave way for the next generation. So my apologies. I would go on, but my voice is almost gone.
It was of sharing your story
Yeah.
with us and proclaiming it till the end. Thank you, Lisette, for sharing. Jackie, you have a different perspective to add because you bring, again, you have an amazing journey. Not only, it wasn't just about voicing your story, but your journey with your family and everything, the impact that you're creating through your community. If you can share a little bit about that.
Yeah, thank you, Ileana, and congrats to all of us. Yeah, it's like you said earlier, there was a lot of thinking of what story can I tell? And there's so many avenues, like which way should I go? Is this even important? Do people want to hear this? So being able to bring it full circle and talk about the impact in the community is huge, right? So it's not just the community of Latinas, it's the community of, young mothers, which I was one. It's the community of those battling corporate America, the community of coming up against crossroads. Which way do you go? If I go right this, if I go left that way, and also bringing it and making it about the next generation, which is, as a girl mom, is important and key, right? So as we've said earlier in this call, representation is important, and I want other little girls to see us and be like, wow, I could really do this, or I could really be that, because what we saw growing up was very limited, right? Coming from a working class in a, underrepresented and lower socioeconomic sort of community, it was tough, but education is key, and here we are. So the impact in the community of going and lifting as we climb, I literally do that, not just in my personal life, but in my professional life as well, with the various board positions that I fulfill in my free time, which my family would question if there really is any. But being able to find that balance to really give back and doing it because I want to do it and see others do better, not because I'm looking for an accolade or an applause or something in return.
Thank you so much for sharing and for sharing your story, because all of the stories, like I said, they're really powerful. But the lenses that we bring, the perspectives are so rich and so full. And I would love to hear next from Dora, because you bring a different lens in terms of your story and your process in this book. Because you also have a podcast and you have all these other amazing things that you do. So you're no stranger at putting yourself out there. However, I know that there was a little bit of still trying to put that story out there. So if you can share a little bit more.
First, thank you so much. Thanks to all of you, my co-authors, United Latinas, and to our editor, Lauren, who we couldn't do this without. So I just want to thank all of you. And so, yeah, thank you so much. So I am a proud Afro-Latina, and this book is coming just in time for Women History Month. And we made history, Zoe Saldana winning the Oscar, the first Dominican American to win the Oscar. So I had to just shout that out, as, I'm biased because I'm Dominican. But I'm just so proud because my chapter touches about dispelling the myths of a monolithic Latinidad. We have such a rich, diverse perspective to add to the culture. And I agree with so many of you. It's not only we're leaving a legacy for other Latinas, for young Latinas, but also people of all identities can relate to our stories, because it's about how resourceful we all are. It's about what we bring, how our culture impacts the way we view the world. We are all courageous and compassionate leaders, and we want to see, I think, you don't have to put people down to be lifted up. And so when you lift up the least among us, that doesn't mean other people have to be put down. And so I'm just thrilled to be able to share my story with the world. And for my daughter, and for my son too, he said, "Mommy, what about me?" And I said, "Of course, my son, you're an ally. You can learn from mommy too." So I think people of all identities can learn from us. We're all like amazing women. I've just been so excited to be reading your stories. I'm so moved by all of them and by all of you. So thank you again.
Thank you, Dora. And you even put like footnotes to your one, like you wanted to
yeah.
share so much with everybody that you added so much, additional information. Because again, we try to cram all of your lives into 7-8 pages, but the richness that you all bring is amazing. So thank you for that. Beatriz, sharing your story. And I know that for timing for you was also a challenge, and trying to find time on writing this and making it happen and then putting it out there. But as Latinas, we always find time. right? We always figure it out. I don't know how we stretch the 24 hours in the day. So, and you were able to stretch them. So share a little bit more.
Well, thank you so much, Juliana. And hello, everybody, of my amazing co authors. I'm so excited to be here. I'm currently in Colombia, actually. I've been going back and forth for some family related situations, which, you know, coming back to the timing, that's been happening since last year. And I remember last time it was in the middle of Colombian family vacation in December and timing. So I had to actually figure out how to rent an Airbnb here. Just tell my family I gotta be out for 1-2 days and birth this chapter and get it done. But you know, I think it was one of I can't remember her name, but she was talking about like the biggest challenge was picking the story, picking what part of the story you want to talk about. And another challenge for me was how vulnerable do I want to be? And and it felt very strange somehow, but it felt very the right thing to do as well, because I think what Dora says is the legacy and lifting everybody together. And I'm gonna tell you a little story here to all of you. So I go to a nail salon, and most of them are Latinas, and you know, I was telling them the story about the book is coming out, and you know, and how we have all these stories, and I was going to bring the book. And so I went 2 days ago before coming here to Colombia. I went to get my nails done, and they were like, "And where's the book coming out?" So I can't wait to go there and actually bring the books and give them the books, because they are so much looking forward, and they're telling me so many times, like, we need to hear more of our stories. And I just feel like we are in a very privileged position, and in a way I want to say thank you to United Latinas, because you made it possible for some of us, for us to have this platform. And I know we are the representation of many more that cannot be here telling their stories. But I'm sure that once they read it, they're going to feel themselves reflecting on that. So that's what I wanted to share with everybody. Yeah, really excited to be here. And I was working on all sorts of messaging yesterday between airports. I did 3 stops, 3 layovers, and I was in every layover. I was just typing and trying to get everybody to go there and purchase the Kindle version. So I'm so glad to see that it went to #1. And
Yes,
it's no
number
surprise.
number one. Like, people can start purchasing it right now. Please, like, elevate our stories. This is Women's Month, and to me it's Latinas Month as well, because it's about our collective stories that need to be known, that need to be pushed, because we're no longer going to be the world's best kept secret. Like, we're putting ourselves out there and inviting to what everybody has been saying, right? The next generation of Latinas, and inspiring them and letting them know that yes, they can. And I want to give this microphone next to Gladys. Gladys, because you have decades of story that we had to figure out how to put everything into the chapter, because you have so many, the amazing impact that you've created. Because that's the other thing. We have stories from industries all over, right? It's not only from one industry, it's from different industries, and also to create policy, which is critically important for to continue to move the needle forward, to create the safe spaces and the resources that we need as Latinas to thrive. So I want to give you a couple of minutes just to share what the experience was for you.
Well, the experience for me was very, somebody said vulnerable, because I am so used to trying to figure out how to say the right things. And so this gave me a chance to like speak. But I know that I drove you crazy, because I think I sent like 4 different versions, because once I started to write, it was just all like So, but for me, the experience was incredible, and watching what's going on in our country today, and what and the story that I tell is just it's it just it's it's relatable to people who are going through these experiences today. You know, the president last night announced that he's going to that this country should be a English only speaking country. Well, when I part of the book talks a little bit, or gets to, you know, when I came here, this is America, speak English. Assimilation, those were the words that were, those were the code words that were out there. And it's somewhat painful, right? It's somewhat painful to see that circle coming around again, but that we have a group of women who are fighting back, telling our stories, and changing the dynamic. So I feel very fortunate to be amongst you. I wish that I could meet everybody in person. I hope that I'm able to be in Boston at the end of the month, and I'm just really delighted, and I can't wait to get them so I can send some of them to Puerto Rico, and so I'm just really honored to be here with you guys.
I love what you shared, Gladys, and I think we haven't touched on that enough. The fact that we're all here smiling and celebrating because it is a celebration, it doesn't mean that the journey was easy, right? The journey to get to where we are was full of ups and downs. In a lot of cases, more downs than ups, but still we showed up. Still we put ourselves together. Still we stand proud in who we are, in our background, or our lived experiences, and our identity, in our heritage, because that's who we are. And I think that's what comes through in all of the beautiful stories in this book, because it shows that grit. It shows that there's no stopping us. No matter what life throws our way, we still show up, and we still show up with a smile. And take me on if you need to, but that's what this is all about. It's about coming together and celebrating the greatness that we bring. Heidi, you have gone from a member in United Latinas to writing the book to just recently becoming a board member, and I think it shows to what it is that you want. You just put your eyes to it, and then you get it accomplished. What has been your experience?
Hi, everybody. Great to be here. Great to see all your faces. Great to be in this space. I have to thank you, Eliana and Sandra, for creating this space and this opportunity for me and for us. And I also want to thank all of the authors here, and even the ones who aren't able to be here, because I was so excited to be part of this book. And then I chickened out. I said, "Oh no, I can't write this. I can't." Eliana, me and you went back and forth quite a bit, and it was. I was really intimidated to kind of go through it. And then I said, I always have this hum in my mind, like, it's for us, but this is for us. You're doing this for us, right? Anything I do, professionally, personally, it's for us. If you do it, it's easier for those that are behind us, right? This is not my story, this is our story. And like, I kept it made it possible for me to kind of sit and put like what was in my head into paper. So when I say thank you to the authors, it made it possible, because I felt like we were doing this together. The experience was pretty amazing. I don't know about you. I cried writing some of my stuff down. Like, like pieces of me were healing a little bit. And I was like, what the, like, I didn't even know. Like, so incredible experience. And I forever grateful. And I feel like that's our theme, for just thankful. Um yeah, and I'm excited and I'm glad to be here, and I feel like this is just the beginning for me and for each of us individually and for collectively. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Heidi. And thank you, everybody. And we have many other authors that unfortunately some are driving, some are going through different weather related situations or in meetings and they couldn't be here. But this is a book with 18 amazing Latina authors. And like I said, this is the fourth volume. We are over collectively 50 something authors. And if you're watching us and you want to be an author, in 2 months, we're going to open up the process so that you can be a part of volume 5. So that you can be like a part of this space, a part of this community that just keeps supporting each other. We have authors from volume 1 that continue to be a part of this group, and collectively, I love what you say, Heidi, because it is. This is for us. This is about us, but it is for us, and this is for our kids and for our nieces and nephews and for everybody that's coming behind, because I believe it's our responsibility. It's not only like what we want to do, it's our responsibility as the powerful Latinas that we are here today to be able to create the spaces and open the possibilities for every other one that's coming behind to say, if you did that, I can do it. And I can tell all of you that every time that I read each and one of your stories, I cry, Heidi. I cry with every one of you because I feel so inspired and so empowered. And that's the fuel that gets me going. When the going gets tough, I go back and I read your stories and I say, you know what, if Mildred could do that, if Gladys could do that, if Dora could do that, if Cynthia can, like if all of you can do it, I don't have an excuse to not get out of my bed and show up. And
Can I just say something?
I text you.
Can I just say
you.
something really quickly?
Go ahead, Gladys.
So I was invited to speak to it was a Latina law and Latinas who wanted to go into politics to a panel at Harvard last month, and it took me a half hour to get off the rope line talking to these young women about their aspirations, their dreams, and they're telling me about their abuelos, and they're telling me about their families. And I was just like, I could not believe that most of the things that I wrote down were some of the things that I was telling back to these young women, and they reminded me of me when I was that age, and I was looking for that direction. And our young women still need so much direction because there's still not enough of us. There's still not enough of young women in the rooms that they need to be, and they're going to law school. So it's
And thank you for saying that, because that's the other thing, that's the beauty of this book as well. You can have our contact, you can find our contact information at the end of each chapter. So you can feel free to reach out to any of us at any point in time, because that's how we're going to be able to overcome all of those challenges. That's how we're going to be able to answer the big questions of, what do I do next? How do I manage this? What are the opportunities for me? And you can contact us, and I know that each one of the authors in this book and in all the previous book will have an answer back. So reach out. This is not only these authors, it's for all of us. And the other thing that I want to say is, Coral, you say that you're not an author and you're an illustrator, but I guarantee you are an author. Everybody that has a story, which is all of us, has an author within them, because what we want is just to share your story. You don't have to be a writer. We will do the writing for you if needed. You just need to tell us your story. And actually, she couldn't be here today, but Annie Reyes, who is one of our authors, is also an illustrator and has a beautiful story of how she's brought all of her illustrations and her coloring books for adults to life. So you might want to read that one and connect with her as well. So we would love to have you. But anyways, we, as always, we're running out of time for this cafecito today. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm talking also on behalf of Sandra and our leadership board. Thank you for trusting us on this journey. I do have to say one thing. This journey was very quick. Like this book, we kicked it off around like November, October last year, and then the holidays hit, and then the book was out. Like this was a very quick process. So the fact that nothing stops us. Nothing comes our way that we can't put it together. We just launched on Monday, and now we're bestsellers, and everything that's coming, forward is just the icing on the cake. Thank you so much. And I hope to see everybody in our conference. Remember, March 28th in Boston, Massachusetts. If you haven't signed up, it's our Brave Voices conference. It's our Latina Leadership Brave Voices, because it's our brave voice that's coming through. And now more than ever, your voice is important and we want to hear it. So come join us so that we can collectively celebrate and hold hands, because this year, ladies, this year is going to be the year of Latinas. Thank you so much for being an extraordinary Latina. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
And let's keep pushing.
See you.
Adios.
Adios.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Bye.